everyone. Happy New Year. I'm BoDreay Fraser, the lead practitioner here at iHeal Collective, and I am joined today by Sean Allman. He is our head of research and development and our ninja that does about 50 million other things, and he'll be speaking this year at Anarchapulco. And our guest star today is Elan Vong. She is absolutely incredible. I consider her a mentor, and she is a wizard, and she has a master's in quantum medical science. I'm really excited to have her on. We've been trying to do this for a while. Welcome, Elan.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Happy New Year to everyone here.
How you
Thank you,
doing
Bo.
today?
Happy New Year.
How's everyone doing? Everyone have a good holidays?
Yeah, it was splendid. Most
Amazing.
So,
low-key, the most low-key holiday I've had in a long time, but it's been
I
nice.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. We're bringing it back in, I think. We're really redefining holidays to what they really should be, family, friends, and kind of taking the consumerism out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Can you tell everyone a little bit about your background, what you do?
Yes, of course. I've been in the healing world for the last 16 years. Currently, I'm a consultant, teacher, and also owner of several businesses related to ozone and detox, functional medicine, regenerative sciences, and also quantum healing. The business is called Angel's Breath, and we have two locations currently in both Beverly Hills and also Woodland Hills in the LA SoCal area. I also have an ozone oil company called 111life.com, and we sell ozone oil that we
It's the
make.
best.
hey, she's got some
Oh
right
my God.
there.
I literally, guys, I cannot live without this stuff.
So yeah, it's been a lifelong, dharmic, karmic, purposeful life that I've chosen, and I've been training medical professionals and also people with autoimmune who really want to heal themselves with the ozone therapy. It's been a long journey, and now the world is finally ready to do more advanced levels of ozone to clean their blood, especially after the last 6 years with the COVID shots and all the other toxins and chemtrails and things that we've been exposed to. Now detox must be a lifestyle, not a luxury we used to go for.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I really have to say that it's for Lon, it's beyond ozone, in my opinion. I mean, the way that you're able to pair up all of these, between like actual medical science and what some people consider woo-woo and holistic, and really bridge those together. I've really never seen anyone do that at the level that you are. She's someone I can literally ask any question to, and she's and I think that's just. I think that's something that we all need to kind of strive towards as wellness practitioners. Like, stop just staying in your one expert syndrome field and really start looking at the broad picture.
Well, I do believe it's a integrative healing that
Yeah.
we're engaging in. This is not just the panacea of one modality, and we oversell one way of doing a whole lifestyle that it's hard to really just superimpose templates on people's healing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't work. It's been proven not to work. We have to do really advanced, refined, also accurate testing. There's also the initial, I believe there's this three-step process, the testing, then we go into breaking it down to milestones. So your lane obviously is the body restructuring, which structure is everything because, between, I'm targeting the poisons and pathogens where you're targeting just the structure that houses all that. And if
Hmm.
you're carrying, imbalances of any level, whether it's toxic or physical or emotional, spiritual, all of it, it will create inflammation in the body. And that
Yeah.
will create, what are the biggest complaints we get in our field?
Yeah,
What?
absolutely.
Pain, pain, energy, and sleep and
Hmm.
hormones, right?
Hmm.
And also immune system issues that goes back to infections as well. So if you can conquer all those in a really comprehensive lifestyle that people have access to and can afford and is within reach, then that's how they stay motivated to engage. Otherwise, it is overwhelming this world that we're in where there's infinite.
Well, there's so much stuff, even within
Yeah,
detox. Like,
sure.
it's a how do you know? And I
Yeah.
will say for you, you're kind of like a bloodhound. Like you know, like your nose always follows like to a therapy or a product or something on this, and every single thing I've seen you do has panned out. Like, everything is good. You seem to have a sixth sense to be able to find that. Like, even how we met. you found you loved my eye drop. You loved the eye drops. You know, like it was just like one of those things. Like I have to have these. You know, and we were at.
I know. I bought your whole supply out at Longevity
took 'em
Conference
all.
with David Wolf, who
Yeah.
happens to be, you know, one of my old friends and clients. So of course I trust him. If he brought you, and I was like, all right, she's vetted, she's definitely on the level, and so it comes with, you know, the intuition comes with the territory of like, oh yeah, I've been there, done that. Oh, I've heard of all the MLMs. Everyone's trying to sell me the hype artists in LA. I heard it all, but when it comes down to it, when you're able to tune in, you don't even have to try the product. It's almost like a
It's
instant
like you
hit,
just
right?
know.
You're like,
It's like
I can look at something at the store, and be like, oh, that's legit. And I'll look at the label. I'm like, oh, fillers, or that's not fillers.
right, right.
We
You,
could
you
use
kind of
that.
muscle test in your mind.
You know, the Laguna
It
Beach
started with
was,
the finger trick, and then I did my own like pendulum, and then I was like, oh, I don't need all that. It's an intuition anyway. Your body comes to you, so why don't you just listen, and then you'll get it.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Sean?
the Laguna Beach thing was so special for me too, for it was a similar circumstance where I was just learning the actual kind of the physics model that is more in tune with, you know, all of the ancient cultures and the architectures of the megalithics. And they're actually building and describing a physics system which has been deliberately suppressed, that a lot of people were starting to figure out in the early 1890s or 1900s, I should say.
Are you talking
like
about
Tesla's.
that plasma light?
Let me tell the story. I got there and I noticed there was a plasmoid unification poster there, and almost no one knows you know what that is or how special it is yet. It's going to become extremely special because well, you'll find out, folks. And as soon as I saw that there, and then I ran into this guy's name was Rory, and he's a soil scientist. He makes he helps farms rehabilitate their soil and grow plants, and he's into all kinds of good new and sustainable proper technologies that work on these ancient systems. And the fact that he was there and he knew it, I thought I was the only person on Earth, except for maybe 4,000 other people on the entire planet that knew about this. And then it turns out Rory knows Malcolm Bendall, the physicist involved, right? And spent some time there and actually invented some things there. So the energetic convergence of Laguna Beach, that particular few days was just incredible. And you know,
Thanks, Avo.
Shout out to David.
Yeah, shout out to the avocado wolf brought us together.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that plasmoid light just like lit up like a sun. Like it was really interesting. It was not very big, and as soon as the sun started to go down, they turned it. You know, they had it on, and then when they turned it off, it was like the sun went out. And it was just tiny little, it was crazy.
That is the magic of when you work with systems that are coherent with how nature works. You just get amazing results. Like nature works in a implosive way, not an explosive way, in the body and life and all the electricity. And that's something I wanted to talk or ask you some questions about, Elan.
I mean, this technology that's coming out nowadays, oftentimes it is using biomimicry, which is what we're looking to achieve. Like, how do we get, and that's what biohacking is all about, right? Like we can hack into nature a little bit and manipulate it to serve our healing. But, you know, there's definitely, you know, still limitations to some of the technologies, and they're refining it in the quantum space. But
I mean, it's an adventure of science we're learning, right?
Yes. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's all light and sound at the end of the day. We're playing with the waves, and we're playing with how it affects us on an energetic level, because we're all just electrical currents at the end of the day, and we're just like how we react. There's a cause and effect. It's the same thing with how quantumly we are connected. You know, we're all part of the unified field. If you follow like Nassim Harriman, and he talks about the unified field and his work with the Ark of the Covenant, it's all about like capturing the spiritual concepts and also knowing how to integrate it into the scientific world. And that takes a lot of, you know, studies in multiple domains, but how you integrate and merge them together, that's what takes a little bit of extra genius and trust in your intuition to guide yourself to the right study before you.
Do you think that a lot of what we think are new discoveries are actually rediscoveries of
I was going to mention that too. I feel like a lot of the Tartarian cultures has already had it, because they were utilizing all the Atlantean technologies. And after you do more research about Atlantis, it's not just one location. Hello, it's like it was kind of like when we're talking. Yeah, it is. If you're talking about, Lemurian human history, they had all this. It's just been suppressed because they're really using it for control and fear-based control so they can keep us as slaves. So when you look in that framework, then you're like, oh, they're trying to keep us stupid and limited, disconnected and disassociated. So we're not connected to source energy, which will tap into all the other ancient future wisdom that we all have access to if we really sit in with our meditative practices and tap in and really trust that we can be connected.
And connect to nature. That's
right.
It was so interesting going from working on people to Mexico to then being in LA, and the difference of the tension in people's body and the energies in people's body. I'm like, how long has it been since you put your feet in the ground? I asked a guy. He was like, oh, like on the ground? I was like, yeah. He's like, probably 4 months.
Like on the ground, like
that's
feet
a lot of
earth.
negative ions you're missing and a lot of voltage that's being stored in your body. Yeah.
Yeah. So basic
right?
and so easy, yet we all tend to forget because most of us are living in the concrete jungle of the matrix. So how do we just got to move into the nature. I've always, the more I evolve, the more isolated I get. This is,
I know.
that to me is evolving. And it's like, it's counterintuitive, right?
I hugged my lime tree this morning. I needed it more than it did, I think.
I was a city kid for most of my life. And so now I'm in the woods, woods.
I love it. Okay, so I wanted you to just talk a little bit about ozone therapy, just an overview, what it does, what it treats, just a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, EBoo is really the Rolls-Royce of ozone treatment in the sense that we're going in and we're cleaning half your blood. We're pulling it out like a dialysis, and we're putting 2 veins and 2 needles. So we pull one and out, and then we clean it with the ozone, high doses of it. And then we go ahead and filter it through like a dialysis filter, but we use a specific one called the SAFE. We get our machine from the original inventor. There's a lot of knockoffs out there, and a lot of them that are made, let's say in America, they try to combine too much, but really simply, you just need to clean and filter out the blood. It gets rid of uric acid. It gets rid of all kinds of heavy metals. We're going in and clearing out all the histamines and blood clots from the vaccine injuries. There's a doctor named Dr. Yu. He's really popular on social media, and he's been showing like how he could stretch out a blood clot when he pulls it out of the tubing when we do the EBoo, and it's gnarly, and you can see
there's some pretty
of your dirty blood in there, and it's usually different colors. It could be like all foamy. So you're the proof is in the pudding of what's coming out. And
can we rewind for 1 second though? Can you just tell people like an overview of what ozone is, how it enters the body, and what it does?
Okay, let's go back. Well, ozone is quite simply a high voltage of electricity, and it's used through the Tesla generator. Let's just say we're striking either with cold plasma or we're doing high voltage of electricity. And what happens is it's basically a corona discharge that's we're inducing through
similar to the Brown's gas.
So we're creating like a lightning bolt. Imagine a sun lightning bolt and crash through the lightning through the oxygen, and it splits it into an unstable atom and it reconnects as a negative charge molecule of 3 O's that are negatively charged, unstable, very highly activated, and it's looking to bind to an extra ionic atom, and that becomes, like, for instance, carbon monoxide. That will become carbon dioxide because you're taking away one oxygen atom and you're leaving the body with pure oxygen and waste. And so anything positive charge in your body is in the form of heavy metals, poisons, even pathogens will be magnetized.
Bacteria, fungus, all the unwanted guests.
Bacteria, parasites, viruses, mold, all that gets attracted. So you're looking at, chemical and biological waste that needs to be removed. And this
And
is
unlike
just clean to do with in the human body as far as an oxidation goes.
And unlike other detox methods, you don't have the same kind of reactions, the Herxheimer reactions. You know, if you're detoxing on top of, bunged up liver, we know what that can do. So what I found with ozone, it is, as far as detox methods goes, it's the best, and you're going to have the easiest time with it.
Well, what makes it easy with the EBoo specifically, let's say
Yeah.
versus the
Can you
other
tell people
method,
what EBoo stands for?
it's a extracorporeal blood oxygenation ozonation.
And I want to touch on here. I had a couple people ask me this question, and you're going to answer it better than I did. Can you tell people that know a bit about ozone what is the difference between the 10 bypass and the EBoo?
So there's over like now there's about 22 ways of doing ozone. And
Actually, let's go through the most popular one. Let's go like this all the way
there's
up.
so much simple ways to do ozone, and the way we're going to the advanced way.
So let's start with the more simple ways.
The simple way is just doing ozone water. That's easy enough because you could just put a bubbler, an aeration stone, a simple ozone machine. You can go ozonate your vegetables, your drinking water. And if you ozonate long enough and you drink it, let's say every day, you're getting a homeopathic dose that can really maintain and prevent diseases and inflammation from forming in your body. Now, if you're going higher level, then you can go rectally, which any orifice, ears, even nose,
Belly button.
back there, down there. Yeah, we can go, use your imagination and
We can put it any hole.
yeah,
Right.
you can inject it into joints. You can, there's so many applications. Dental people use it for.
Yeah, it's great for
Even
dental.
our municipal water is ozonated. We just medical supplies or disinfectant.
Topical application.
And gassing topically on, let's say, a tumor or staph infection, you could do a cupping method. I've used before with DMSO to deepen it. So there's multiple applications of it. If you have an ozone machine, even just for your house, even if the basic medical one, it will serve really mild infections that come on, like ear infections. You can stick it in a stethoscope, and that's the easiest 5-minute treatment you can do. But if you want to go more advanced, the next level would be like the DIV, direct IV ozone.
Just one thing, we don't breathe in straight ozone unless it's bubbled through oil or potentially water. Just a heads up, everybody, don't be a second on that.
Yeah, you don't ever want to inhale ozone directly unless you know what you're doing.
Make you cough.
You could do it for a split second to clear mucus out of your nose, but you should not be hotboxing with running with your windows and doors closed. It's caustic, not toxic. But it could cause you to cough and you want to leave.
Yeah, it's not comfortable.
It is really not comfortable. But the beautiful thing is there's the O8 is what forms with so you can safely breathe in only if it's run through any type of oil. Then it's instead of O3, O8. So it's a different molecule that doesn't harm your lungs.
Yeah, and doing it that way is really good if you have respiratory stuff. Like we know how much like bronchitis has been going around, and a lot of other respiratory issues.
Yeah.
So So I mean, a lot of the people may not have the equipment to do that. There are ozone therapists. Contact Elan if you or Elan or
I
Angel's
have a
Breath.
school of angels who are
you do.
willing to fly out. And funny enough, ozone means angel's breath or the breath of God. So which is why I named my centers Angel's Breath. So it's
I love it.
It's a German technology.
All right, sorry, I interrupted you. Let's go back to the. Yeah.
So there's other ways. You could also bag your parts, your body parts.
Yeah.
So I've had people who've had serious fungal infections, and I will bag their foot. If you see gangrene, and literally spray some DMSO, bag that thing, tie it off, and then you could see the infection literally disappear in front of you.
It works that quickly.
It's crazy quick. Yeah. I've seen people who are going to amputate their legs. And as soon as I get that bagging going and leave it on for like an hour, you see the magic happen right in front of you. I've had brown recluse spider bites, and I stick them in the sauna with the neck, and then they hotbox in there with a little steam sauna with the ozone going. And again, it healed his staph infection from the brown recluse spider bite right away.
And this oil, on that note, I'm sure you guys have heard already, I had 2 brown recluse bites last year, and I literally thought I was going to freaking die. And I was on the road, so I didn't have access to any of the ozone gas. But this is why I always take this with me everywhere I go. This ozone oil probably saved me from getting gangrene and potentially sepsis on the road. So for me, this is like keys, wallet, cell phone, ozone.
No,
yeah, even
Oil.
Anthony who's visiting, he used it once on something he had going on his feet, and he was like, "Oh, this is like gold." So
Yeah,
this
you could
is
put it on warts, you could put it on cuts.
on everything.
It's the Windex, like the big, the big fat big
It's
wedding. It's the
Yeah.
Windex, guys.
we love cure-alls. We love cure-alls. And
The
and I add
cure-all.
DMSO to amp it up. And I want to say, I must say too, I've been working in some of these groups with some of the mamas with small kids that don't want to put, they're really hesitant to put compounds on their kids with 26 different ingredients. This is what I recommend every time. And
Two ingredients.
Two ingredients.
Essential oil and olive oil, and then the rest is gas.
So if you're really sensitive or have young ones, this is the way to go for it. And Ozone's an umbrella treatment, as I like to say. Yeah, it's one of those ones.
Then we do sell it on Amazon, so you can look for ozone oil, and I'll probably be on there.
We'll post the link too.
11. Yep.
Yeah, because not all ozone oil is created equal, and they worked for a year to perfect this stuff, and you guys really got it to a place that
No, you have to ozone it for a long time. It could take months if you don't know what you're doing. So it's not a simple process.
And if we're down in Mexico where everything melts, this consistency of this stuff is like if it's this consistent down here, you guys got it. You
can also oil pull with it. That's another thing I didn't.
I
that's a good one for squishing around.
What is oil pulling?
Oil pulling is an Ayurvedic practice where you take traditionally they use sesame oil. You could totally use coconut oil as well, but with this oil is olive oil. It will work. You just have to squish it around your mouth for ideally 10 minutes if you have the mouth strength to do it. But just anytime you could get in there as a morning practice, a night practice, that will clean the gums out and kind of give you a deep clean here and there. You can brush your teeth with it too. I haven't, but you don't need to do it every day. I would say like once a deep clean treatment a week would be perfect. So it is really, really powerful and strong. The thing you smell it right away. It smells like the day after thunder, or you're at the beach and the waves hit. That creates ozone too.
Smells like healing.
So this is so interesting to me because it feels like, and Elan, please chime in on this if you feel that we're coming into like a new paradigm, which is actually an old paradigm of healthcare, where instead of doing chemical medicine or pharmacological medicine, we're doing atomic medicine. We're dealing with much smaller particles, and we're dealing with electric charges, and we're dealing with literally electricity, rather than the higher level of intake, which would be, I suppose, in a benign sense, plant medicine, and then in the controversial sense for me at this point, with what I know, the pharmacological sense, creating dependencies and going against the natural rhythms and homeostasis that the body wants, going against the nature of what the body wants. Whereas ozone, what sounds like to me is that it's an elemental medicine.
That's a really good way to put that.
It is an elemental medicine. And you know what? I would be excited to see how the element of ether is going to be utilized in the future. Because, it's kind of like it is. It's going to be, why not? I mean, we have all this gifts. Like, it doesn't have to be one form. There's liquid, there's solid, and there's gas. Like, why not work it all?
So I think you can already access ether with sound healing, actually. If you do it long enough and intense enough, it eventually, just like, okay, so if you put water into a Tibetan singing bowl, a lot of people have seen this before. It goes, and then the water will start dancing and shimmering and doing the cymatics, right? And then everyone, okay, fine, we're vibrating the glass, the water reacts to it. So what? What's so interesting about that? Well, I'll tell you what's so interesting about it is that same water, after you've done that for a while, and the water's going boo, 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 boo. You stop, you let the water settle, you take your wand again and you go and you make the sound again on the bowl. The water instantly starts dancing and singing. It doesn't take a while to capture that vibration. It's already there. In that, the vibration has gone right down to the atomic level of the liquid in that bowl, and the molecules are spinning and they remember the tone because you've created coherency in the medium. And when you bring that tone back again, the medium's just ready to spring back to life. And that recalibration is something that I believe, and I think a lot of others who are on this stuff are starting to understand, is a fundamental way that our bodies operate. And that if you simply introduce the coherence that a lot of our ancient cult like TCM and in Vedic medicine tells us to do, this is actually atomic physics and it's atomic medicine. And I think that is the paradigm that's going to return finally, I hope, to help us all heal and really remove this, I don't know what it is. It's like this evil that's it's more than just making money. And you kind of talked about it earlier a little bit. You touched upon this subject that it's like, why are these multi-million-dollar companies like literally putting poison in things? Like it kind of makes no sense.
To create inflammation in the body and chronic illness, because it's how we make money. Right?
I know it's cartoon.
I know you're really marketing. You're really marketing the problem and solution because you're creating the problem, and that's been the culture that we've been living in. So
is it that dumb? Like
we're completely, we're in the consumer culture where we feel like we have to heal, we got to fix, we got to improve ourselves. But where does that come from? That addiction to doing that.
You know what? One of the biggest things I've seen.
We're not right. We're not perfect, but we actually are made divinely perfect, and we're just remembering that. And that practice is a balance again of surrender, acceptance, and also knowing where we are at in our alchemy of what we actually need. And that's where people don't have the know-how or the trust in themselves to actually gravitate toward those the medicines that are serving them in the moment, because a lot of things are good for us, but what is actually good for us in the moment, that's hard to really discern.
I think what I'm seeing a lot in this work that I've been doing online lately is the knee-jerk reaction is, I have this, what do I take? How about I have this? What do I, wait, before I do this, I have this. What do you eliminate? You eliminate first, and then go into things like ozone. Well, I mean, let's say ozone, oxygen, hydrogen. These are already part, we are comprised mostly of that, right? So it's like, all these people trying to get healthy, trying to take every supplements. Like, wait a minute, have you cut out refined sugars? Have you cut out seed oils? Are you getting sunshine, right? Are you starting your day with some lime in your water and some sea salt so you're mineralized? Like, it's like, how about we look at what we're putting in our body and start to subtract before we add? That's what the theme I've been feeling, in the last month. I've been, doing quite a bit of work online.
Yeah, simplicity is actually done really well. It's what we're looking to achieve right now. And everyone's like, let's minimalize, let's simplify. And I think that is the clear message after the overconsumption and the overwhelm that we've been experiencing from decision fatigue and how we deal with maintaining ourselves.
Absolutely. And it's like
40s and you're like, oh, wow, I really got to wake up now. I'm way past my midlife crisis now at this point. Let's go,
Well, it's like you could say you're growing a garden, you get a disease in one of your plants, right? The leaves are bad. You could spend decades pulling apart that leaf, getting electron micrographs made and looking for every little thing. Or you can just put good soil.
Yeah, dust it with some diatomaceous earth.
Just put some good soil down. Fix the soil.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited with what the quantum devices can do these days.
That's the soil.
Can we go on that for a minute? Because I want to.
Can we wrap up EBoo first? Because I do want to.
Let's finish with EBoo.
Yeah, let's finish EBoo. So we were telling about the difference between the 10 bypass and.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, the main difference, if you're going to look at the 10 pass, is that 10 pass is just an auto chemotherapy, which was the early way where the medical doctors are allowed by law in the US to deliver ozone in. DIV is technically gray still. It's not approved by FDA as a way to do it in a medical clinical setting. However, auto chemotherapy is what most people have access to wherever they live, because what it is a one pass. Let's start with that. They pull your blood, they put ozone in there, they basically shake up the blood and then re-inject it back into the vein that put you in. That's the simplest way to do it. You can do that in a lot of countries and a lot of places. Then you want to move up to the 10 pass, and 10 pass is when you do it like 10 times of the one pass. The difference between the 10 pass and the EBoo is that you're not filtering the blood. So you could still have a Herxheimer reaction, which most people do because, detoxing is an art in itself and a science, really, because you can't just go, I've gone into crazy bad situations where you think you're dying if you don't know what you're doing. And people have died from detox, reckless detox. They've died from water fasting because their brain and kidney blood-brain barrier is not equipped to even go into the deeper detoxes that the more advanced people and cleaner people can handle. So if you're just like, oh, you're new to it and you go straight into the, the
28-day water fast.
yeah, you're just going
Start
to
with 3.
like miserable for the whole month, and you're not going to be motivated to even continue this as a practice or lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I always suggest to people, if they're not there, if they need the ozone and they just don't want to feel like crap, you just do the EBoo and pay the extra, because at least you're going to still get the treatment, but you don't actually have to take the binders. You don't have to go, skin brush and go and do enemas and having to go saunaing and then waiting a couple days. Like you don't have to go through that pain of the herxing, or they call it rapid detoxing, Herxheimer reaction.
Yeah.
Better route is to take a lot of binders. Make sure you like binders with charcoal or bentonite clay, bathing in it, drinking it, all of it. So you have something to bind to.
Because all those dead bodies and all that stuff with the EBoo, like it was really interesting when I did my EBoos. You can see I had, I think, 500 milliliters of crap pulled out of me, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm pretty healthy.
That's a half a liter.
Yeah.
How to get your blood directly. Which is
wow.
Right?
Yeah. So the first time I went, it wasn't this year, it was the year before, and I was feeling good. I was feeling great, but I definitely wanted to try it. And it was interesting. Your blood, like my blood came out like this purple color, and I'm like, am I dying? She's like, no. Everyone's looks like that. And then it came back in this fiery red, and then it was like an hour long. And after, I felt like a freaking superhero. I like went and got like a $70 steak, and I was like, this life is so good. And then this year I came, and I was still recovering from the brown recluse bites. And if anyone knows what the lymphatic system looks like, within your pelvic area, you have massive lymph nodes there. So my system was trying to clean this necrotic venom out of it. So my lymph nodes were quite big; they're little mini balls. And I was doing lymphatic drainage, but you have to drain that lymph slowly so that you don't make yourself sick.
Yes.
Now I went in for the EBoo, and it was instantaneous. After the session, within about an hour, because I maybe didn't check right after, I kind of felt down in that area, and I was like, it was just completely gone. Like completely gone. I've been working at it for months, and I felt great. And I was like, this is next level. So I think I did about 3. I was 5, but I did about 2 more before I came home. And I really can't say enough good things about EBoo. Like it was the simplest, easiest, most efficient way that I've ever detoxed. It's like an hour.
So could you compare side effects?
It's a shortcut. It's like, listen, we don't have to use your liver. We don't have to use your skin. We don't have to use your kidneys. Let's just get it out. That method, that's what EBoo is great for.
Yeah.
Only an hour, which is not you don't have to spend weeks here, trying to starve yourself on juice or water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there weren't any side effects.
No energy to work or function or think, because you're completely like the metals are coming out of you.
Yeah.
You're basically just
my brain was clearer. Yeah. Like it was like every system in my body just functioned better. And I was like, if I lived in LA, I would be there every week.
I've done myself over 50 now, and I'll tell you, I can smell things a mile away. I mean, there's definitely, it's like I can't even be in the city now. Like I've isolated myself more because I'm so pristine. But that's what happens when you're clean.
Absolutely.
Sensitivity is a superpower. People are like, no, you made yourself weak. I'm like, that's not how it is. That means your body's going to let you know when it's toxic right away. So you're not just upping it.
The body adapts too. The body will adapt to being toxic. The body will adapt to being sick. The body will adapt to being subluxated, right? You can spend years with an injury, and then finally when the injury is actually corrected by a body worker, for example, now it's going to hurt, but you're actually going to experience a higher quality of life after.
Well, you have a bigger range of motion.
Exactly.
And the pain is only, when I did work with Bo, I would say like I've done, a little under 10 with her, and I expect to feel sore for at least like a couple days to a week. But then I was like, oh, wait, I could move my arm. Like I can sleep now on the side of my body.
Right.
Whoa, like, wait, I can walk without feeling pain in my right thigh. So like the chronic pain goes away. And how often do you feel that from body work? It's very rare. So between her and I, we got the codes work. Yeah.
It was really cool because, although I work in functional medicine, my education is not anywhere near Elan. So it was really cool to be able to have someone, I think she was been the missing piece for me. And then you guys were missing structural. So us finding each other was like this beautiful kismet that I was like, oh, you got what I need. I got what you need. And we're able to bring that together. And I'm super, super excited about this relationship with you and your team. They're all amazing. And we need to get you to try the EBoo as well, Sean. Oh,
I have tried it.
Oh, that's right. you have. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna.
But I really want to say as well, we're going to have Ozone again at Acapulco. Unfortunately, we've been trying to get the EBoo machine here. It's really hard to bring it in between countries. One day, hopefully, that will be possible. But we will be bringing Ozone back.
Well,
to
we're going to get a submarine, so we'll figure it out.
That's the easiest way. Yeah, that's a very simple way to get it there.
That's it.
No problem.
Yeah, sailboat. Just kidding.
But yeah, so if you guys, we'll put the information up as well for Angel's Breath Clinic. So if you guys want to try this out, I highly recommend it. And if you are dealing with something like stage 4 cancer, if you are dealing with, chronic autoimmune diseases, fibromyalgia, whatever you want to call it, we have a lot of symptoms and syndromes these days that are just, inflammatory issues. There is nothing better that you can do that will be quick, easy, effective, and that you have to put as little work in as possible.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty about atomic or paradigm future Ayurvedic based.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of these medicines is they are the overarching solve for all of these things. We don't need to lose ourselves in the minutia. We can really address things high up the river, so to speak, rather than dealing with tributaries.
Right.
And that I think is, a philosophical kind of change that I see, which is a good thing, happening more and more. And it's becoming more, especially since 2019, the entire Western medical system, I'm sorry if you're not an idiot, it's lost face. It's no longer trustworthy at all. I'm sorry. It's just, if you're an intelligent person and you simply look at and interpret the data, the conclusion is that you can't trust it anymore. So what are we going to fill that gap with? What are we going to fill that void?
Well, I think for one, education, learn to advocate for yourself. If you're quote unquote in a doctor's office, they're trying to put you on something, it doesn't feel right, you don't understand the ingredients, the side effects, advocate for yourself, right? And then maybe ask that, if you are still going to doctors, is there a natural option?
Yeah, I mean, the world isn't confined to the United States.
Reach out. I Heal Collective, there's a lot of people with a lot of education. Dr. Edward Group, he's been amazing. Really enjoying his videos lately as well. There's so much now, if you know where to look, that, it's challenging working online.
Speaking of knowing where to look, I'm hearing stuff about this operation going in Boston. Are we allowed to talk about that?
We're going to finish that with a little mystery at the end, but I want you guys to go into it. Actually, do you want to put it on a screen just you guys? I wanted you guys to go a little bit into the...
I already talked about that. It's okay.
Science, sound vibration.
I
wanted to talk about it.
Well, why would... Okay.
I want to go a little bit more into what your field direction's going as far as quantum, as far as vibration, as far as sound. What are you putting together? What are you working with?
Oh, yeah, sure. Elan, please.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm doing is I found, I'm friends with inventors and scientists, and I love to bring the new tech out into the world, especially now that, the information now is we're launching into a renaissance right now with the AI technology and now the med tech. And the med tech is getting way more refined as far as the ability for it to have accurate scan, which is helpful because people don't want to wait a couple of days or weeks to find out what's going on and how do we get targeted in our protocols. And so the best thing I found is I've been working with this one device called the Mosquito, which has been an FDA approved, surprisingly, for 20 years for muscle tension. And that's how we got in. But it is a machine that has like 70 modalities. And so now I found the next wave of that device, and it is incredible. So accurate. People feel it immediately. Not all the quantum devices are made at the same.
No, there's a lot of
Russia and German tech are usually the better choices as far as when you go into the plasma radionics scale.
Russian and German.
So, and that's kind of what I've been studying a lot of and engaging. I've been in it for definitely a decade and a half, and just been playing with all the devices across, it's all similar, but like some of them are just not accurate. It's like 60%, some are 90%, some could be as good as 95. And that's what I've been targeting, those inventions. And it's so incredible with just like, let's say, putting your hand on the device. You can find out exactly what's going on. You can even find out what crystals you're allergic to. I mean, it's that specific and detailed.
Yeah, I was pretty blown away at your house this summer working with some of these things. I was like, it's really fun to go to Elan's house, guys. She's got a lot of fun toys.
Yeah, and I mean, my machine could even tell you your past life and what occupation you were at.
It's wild.
Bridge relationships, NLP now, and so we're going in and we're peeling the onion about what needs to be looked at here. And I could even find out if you got spirit attachments to you, and what that could mess with you, like curses and like psychic attacks as well on your health. So you really have to look at all the variables, which oftentimes people don't. Like, let's say you go to Bali and someone, one of the natives cursed you because you took one of their, you had a crush on one of the American guys that she had a crush on. It's pretty often that you hear about like American women who get targeted and cursed.
That sounds a little specific there.
It's a very specific thing, but my machine could find out if somebody actually put a hex on you. And then you remove it with the quantum tech, because it's called entanglement. This is where entanglement is also a choice, right? We could have, it's all subtle energy at the end of the day.
It is. It doesn't need to be someone like danced around with human sacrifices.
Everyone knows about this information, I'm sure.
To throw energy at you is one thing. And like, it doesn't need to be even a quote unquote ritualistic thing. It's like if someone's talking crap about you,
that's going to affect you.
That's all good. Like, everything stays in that ether. So as far as, people be like, oh, hexes and curses, it's all energy. It's all energy.
It's all energy of the day.
And it's clearing out that vibrational field.
But if your nervous system, let's say you're in chronic pain, or you're chronically emotionally distraught, or you're just not regulated, that will allow that energy to affect you even worse. Mm-hmm. So why are we like getting into injuries? Why are we getting into car accidents all of a sudden? Why are we up like drained and we can't get out of bed? And you think, oh, I have an infection. Not always the case. And we always oversimplify the diagnosis of what's causing it. So what do? You go to your primary doctor, you ask for a diagnosis, you ask for meds, and it doesn't do anything. Of
course, you get worse, you have side effects.
Yeah.
It's like you feel crappy getting up. Okay, so a lot of people get your face in the sunshine. Ooh, great thing for anxiety and depression.
And it happens to the sunshine in the face in the morning is like
huge.
It's a almost like an essential thing that needs to happen to initiate a cascade of hormone releases that happen throughout the day.
Rhythm.
Yeah, it's like it's literally a calibration system that your body's been evolved to do, for millions of years. Yeah. And it's just completely secret. It's like, oh my God, looking at the sun in the morning, and it's the easiest thing, and it does so much, especially like for diabetes and stuff like this that we're finding out. But let's keep talking about the sound and vibration, because I did touch about it a little bit. I think that is sound and vibration is the way to access the ether. I think that is just octaves. Literally. You're just
ether, octaves. We're talking about in between spaces, right? We're just talking about in spaces. That is actually the most potent space of all, the invisible space that connects us all. So with that element,
it's full of plasma.
It's pure plasma, exactly. Pure plasma. And now with the plasma tech coming out, that's all related, and how we manipulate. And now there's even, if you want to go even deeper when it relates to blood, now we have ability to even clean up plasma in the blood now. That's how advanced we're getting. So between the science evolutions and technological evolution with the med tech, it's all aligning in so many directions.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I look at it, I think of it like, why do we have this innate ability as human beings that we're so musical? And I mean, it's like, well, birds and dolphins and bats, they're musical, right? And it's like, yeah, but they're not doing four-part harmony. They're not doing harmony with each other. We're the only animal that does harmony. And when you create harmonics in audio, you're actually creating geometry. And all of these rules that work with music and the circle of fifths and it all applies to electricity as well. It's the same system.
It goes further than that too. So
all the way up, all the way down.
When the birds sing in the morning, that causes the plants to have a reaction. They start to uncurl, their stomata start to open. Sure, it's really interesting it's that symbiotic relationship between the two. And I think we don't think about this enough. I talk about this a few times, but cats have a built-in vibrational machine, right? Cat purrs, it's regulating its nervous system. It doesn't just purr when it's happy, it purrs when it's actually dysregulated. Well, we have one too, right? Humming. Like what and I'm not talking just hum for a second. What 3 minutes of humming can do for you? You depressed, you have anxiety, try it out. It's crazy. And it's free.
Yeah. Why do cats do it on us? I mean, it's the same thing.
Right.
Very similar, yes.
I was just telling my son this morning, I was like, listen, with healing in general, with sound and sound and light, it has a power to destroy or to create.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, there's a power to heal or kill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all in frequency. So if you look at the Rife machine, let's just start with the basic Royal Rife education. He discovered that there's a frequency for every single parasite in the body and every disease and everything that could also help us reset. So, people have healed themselves just with just sleeping with a plasma light by their head.
Yeah.
I mean, as simple as that. Now, if you want to go more advanced, at my clinic in Beverly Hills, we are going to be hosting something called a Power Pack and a Cell Sonic. And this technology is radical. All it is just a vibrational energy that's sent through, so powerful enough that it could actually break up a tumor.
Right.
It's
Yes.
not advertised as that, obviously.
I think that needs to be done by. I've known about the Cell Sonic, and I have seen.
You know about it.
I've seen it used recklessly on tumors and cause more damage. So I think it's really important to make sure that the person that you are working with that you have the adequate information. Just because I've had this end up on my doorstep where it was used and it actually metastasized the cancer because it split open the tumor. So I think it could be an incredible piece of science, but I also want people to use extreme caution when you're
it takes training. It takes training, obviously. It's a newer technology, but it does break how they advertise it. It breaks adhesions, and it also breaks up any scar tissue that needs to be broken up, because that creates inflammation in the body as well, especially, with head injuries. Why do you think when you have a head injury, you basically, they found that it was related to a lifetime of chronic autoimmune because of the scar tissue in your head.
Yeah, and it's like when remember you mentioned earlier, if you have like a really insanely toxic person and then you give healing medicine, some people they're so toxic and they go too hard with the healing, then they can get into trouble, right? Like you said. And I think what Bo brought up was one of those situations precisely. Yeah. That particular case, I know a little bit about it. It was like she was about to die and didn't really have.
She was stage 4, and it was tricky. But we saw her before, and they had whoever was using the machine was using it correctly, and they actually exploded the tumor, which then metastasized and turned into gangrene.
I don't think the Cell Sonic was part of what went wrong at all. Actually,
we can actually have a little debate about that if you want. We don't need to do it online, but I can tell you 100%. I saw her before and I saw her after, and it was wild.
Well, they were doing like body work on it, though.
It was
the Cell Sonic's not invasive like that.
No,
if you had the EBoo as part of a protocol, because I was having a really
right?
You need to remove the debris. If your lymphatics are blocked, and you're doing all this it's the same thing. You're clogged up. And you're just going to get that back into it's going to recirculate back into you. So
you're going to have problems in your tributaries.
Well, and think of it like a mammogram. What happens when we explode a tumor with a mammogram, right? What happens when we biopsy?
Same thing.
We metastasize. So that's a really good point. So it's like these can be amazing technologies and they can work really well, but if you don't have the education to have the follow-up care, it could also kill you. So it's like
this is not a one-up situation.
No, you need to.
You got to do this slowly, and you got to do it in a way that actually your body can handle detoxing it out. Because look, a tumor is quite simply is a protective factor in your body.
It's great. Your body's taking all those free radical cells.
The poison. The pocket of it could
so
be
you want
like
to target.
It's protecting you from it affecting the rest of your organ systems.
Yeah, stop bursting it open, guys.
Where is it going? Where is that thing going? It's just going to circulate back into you, and then you're just going to have to do it again.
And then your lymph system is overloaded,
you're just basically releasing trash back into your body. So
totally, and I
you
think
need to find like colonics. You got to be sweating. You got to be in an intensive, for 3 months, and slowly do it. I would guide that Cell Sonic practitioner.
Yeah,
you know what, guy? Could you answer maybe each of you give your opinion on what is the lymph system? Because almost no one knows what that is and how important it is.
I'll start because
So
her,
important.
her answer is probably going to be more complex than mine. But I think one of the easiest way to understand it, your lymphatic system is part of your circulatory system. But unlike the vortex we have as a heart that moves our blood, we don't have that in the lymphatic system. So there's certain ways we have to move the lymphatic system and drain it manually. And if you're already pretty healthy, you walking around, just day to day life is pretty good. But when you start to get blockages and inflammation, there's a few things that power that: the energy meridians that move through your body, molecular hydrogen, which we touch a lot on where we are. Elan has a Brown's gas machine herself. Movement, exercise, elevating your feet. Like we actually have to power it. Ozone therapy. There's wonderful things, but your lymphatic system is not going to do a very good job of draining by itself once it's overloaded. And
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
responsible for your immune system.
I mean, there's certain body points that have the more lymph nodes.
Yeah.
At, like, for instance, armpit, neck, groin. Yeah, if you just work those places, you can drain it yourself if you have a good practice. But if you don't, like, stretching is definitely a good body work to manipulate it is obviously the best way. But as a sustainable practice, you just have to move your body.
And if you don't have a functioning lymphatic system, it means you don't have a functioning immune system, right? So it's like so many people, and we look at people's bodies. I think this. I'm so fat. It's like a lot of that time is not fat. That is dirty lymph, and it looks different. It's chunky.
It's just water that needs to be what do you do is you open up the lymphs and then go and sweat that crap out because you're the biggest underused detox organ.
Totally. And if you ever want to see what dirty lymph looks like, look up hijama. I actually did some hijama on myself last week, and that's when we were doing Chinese cupping, but we're actually making incisions and putting the cup over it, and it's actually pulling the dirty lymph out, which I think is fascinating. I love that. But probably Sean would be a little bit grossed out, but you can see what dirty lymph looks like, and I love hijama. You're pretty Asian. You probably do too.
Yeah, I mean, everyone looks at the outside cleanliness, but the inside.
I'd like to have it done on me. I just think it's.
All right, we'll get you on the table tonight.
Get it.
All right, so yes, please tell us a little bit about Boston. Sean's dying to know. I've given him snippets here.
Well, Boston is an interesting one. I've discovered a scientist. He's a microbiologist and chemist, and he was able to figure out how to tap into peptides for the brain through what's called a postbiotic. And so it's, there's pre, there's pro, and there's post. Really, the supplement market right now is very lacking in the post level. And just to give you a quick definition, the pre is kind of like food that feeds, the pro, which is the actual micro. And then what is the byproduct or, the metabolic waste that is actually pre-digested nutrients and minerals for us would be the post. So you're getting pre-digested nutrients that we don't have to work through.
Yes. Okay.
Hydrochloric acid, most people's guts are really just destroyed from antibiotics overuse or just crappy processed food, or you're just not, their brain and their gut are essentially connected. So your brain doesn't work when your gut's not functioning. So to fix it,
brain connection.
I call it the cosmic composting of our bodies. If we're not breaking it down like soil, we're not going to grow anything or regrow anything that we need to actually utilize. So when people say like, oh, we have leaky gut, we have this, we have that. Well, guess what? You're not absorbing it. Between the parasites eating your food, the leaky gut, all the nutrients leaking out, you're basically malnourished because of your shitty gut. So it's a problem, and it's becoming worse and worse. We used to have a sixth organ called the cecum, and that is the appendix that the old appendix that actually regulated. It was an immune modulator, basically.
I've heard, and this is what I think is very close to what you just said, is that it's like a little repository for your gut biome, so that if you if you get the runs really bad, you get Montezuma like 9,000%, you shit out basically all of your microbe. You have a little library there that you can
so much today that can destroy your gut biome. There's so many things.
Yeah, it's part of it's kind of like a little lymph node in a way, but it's unique.
But it's connected to
thing.
The appendix, which what happened was the cecum kept shrinking and then became non-existent because we weren't eating the right foods to feed that organ to stay alive over evolutionary, all that's humans, right? And so the scientist that I'm working with, he is so brilliant that he was able to
Limitless based off of him.
Well, Limitless, the movie, yes, was based on his technology because once you're able to balance your gut and brain, you are tapped in. You are able to learn languages so quickly. Yes, but it's exaggeration in the movie, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's Hollywood, like dramatized. There's
It's
no,
traumatized for excitement
you
and all
getting
that.
off of it is not going to kill you, but it's a very interesting theory. And I think that it's really interesting that now it's come out that this is a gut brain connection. And, I've met some of the people that have done this therapy and they are turned on. I consider myself fairly turned on, but in a way that I'm not quite there yet. You are one of them, Elan, whose brain works at levels and as quickly, like you should see this web that she has of how she can put together these really complex interactions of people and technologies. And I'm like, how did you, like, where does that come from? And I think there's obviously something spiritually innate and, you're studying education, but I think that this played a role in how fast you are and how you're able to, it's crazy. It blows
You
me
got
away.
the cobwebs out of my brain. And it also, we are gut, when they say gut feeling, there's a reason why they say the gut feeling, because our emotions come from the gut. Everything our nerves, or there's more nerves in the stomach than there is anywhere else. And that's
what do you think that a treatment like this could do for someone with dementia or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, or when we're talking about neurological issues?
well, with neurological balancing, it's tricky because what happens is it takes years of accumulation of these metals for you to even get to that place. And it's been happening because it's been sped up lately.
Yeah.
And the age has actually gotten lower for those diagnoses. And adding that vaccines do not help because it's all laced with mercury. So on top of that. So hey,
Right.
it's a collection. And this is where, everything else is doable. Even plastics is easy to detox. But the hardest of all is heavy metals, of all things to detox. It takes the longest.
Yeah.
And so, I would say the skin is the best way to remove it. And then taking these supplementary regenerative, first detox, obviously, get everything out and put back what can actually feed the regrowth of the brain cells and the gut cell, the gut.
What's your favorite way to heavy metal detox if someone's working with like what they can get over the counter?
You know what? We're at an hour, and I almost want to leave them wanting more of Elan. So Elan,
I'll have to create a whole nother show on just heavy metals because that's
okay.
So but if to answer quickly, I would say the skin. People they can do IVs with EDTA in Mexico for 2 years every weekend, going to Tijuana just to do that IV. Because right now the states are there's a lot of clinics that don't want to get in it because it's too dangerous. Like I said, if they don't test for the brain and kidneys, and you're not a candidate to really do it. You can go paralyzed if you don't do it right. So the best way and the safest way is orally, and also through, I would say, I've done this before, where you just put bentonite clay on your skin and stick it in ozone sauna and make that a practice and check your heavy metals afterwards.
Yeah. So TIG welders, tradesmen out there, this is where you want to be listening, because you guys are exposed the most to these kinds of things. So it's tradesmen, TIG welders especially. Welders have the highest incidence of Alzheimer's. Why is that? Well, it's obvious. It's heavy metals getting into their system, right? So, if you're a tradesman or you know a tradesman, definitely recommend them too. Elan, where can we find your clinic, and tell us a bit about that?
Well, my clinic's located in Beverly Hills, right? 1649 in South Robertson Boulevard in the heart of LA. And then I also have one in the Valley, which is Woodland Hills. And my website, it's all there.
We'll throw it in the info below, so check that out.
And interesting, if you're in Woodland Hills, there's actually a mixed modality practitioner, Mia. She's one of our best. It's about 5 minutes from the clinic as well.
Great.
So you can make a day out of it as well. And I want to we'll do a follow-up show, because I want to go a little bit deeper, maybe with a slideshow into Boston, because it's so fascinating. I have some questions about, a little bit more in depth to ask you. And then maybe we'll do some heavy metal talk as well.
The limitless pill. Oh my God. It's actually a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Not just it's based on a real thing, and we
not
have
one of those NCT cheap things you see on TikTok that they're like, this is the no. That's not how it works.
It's for the Boston. I really love to work with people who are coming off of heavy drugs. They're just finished their ibogaine and they need to rebuild their neurological chemical balance.
Didn't you have Dave Asprey, like biohacker, there last time?
Yeah, he was there the last one. And we also have, I love to work on autoimmune, people who are addicted, and now they just are ready for sobriety and want to rebuild. And also anything with neurological, and we can do it. It's a balancing act. That's what we're here for.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me, thank you so much for having yourself on. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, you
I
guys are so
absolutely
fun.
love you.
Yeah.
I have so much to learn from you, and I'm just really, really grateful that the universe brought us together.
Well, thank you for having me, and let's do more. I'm into it.
All right. Let's talk soon.
All right. See you later.
See you.
I'm Solcia, and I am originally from Utah, and I would say my community lives in San Diego now.
So my name is Saskia, and I'm from a lot of different places.
My name is Mandy Niebergy, and I'm from Canada, from Saskatchewan.
So yeah, my name is Howard. I come from England, so it's been a journey to come here.
I was interested in kind of growing as a person. I wanted to grow, I wanted to go into healing.
I want to figure out how to access the trauma that's been stored in our bodies and be able to let it release.
I wanted to come down and learn the same technique.
You've got to experience it, man. It's crazy. It's like, oh, bro, I haven't experienced it, but I've watched her work. I know she's doing some crazy stuff.
There's a lot of trauma release that we get into and that we're releasing with the pain and with the tension bands.
My experience has been amazing. Like, I don't know if I can even put into words.
It's been more than I was expecting. The emotional side of this course has been a big aspect that I didn't know coming into it.
A roller coaster of emotions, and the people here have been fantastic. I mean, the people that were joining me on this course were just amazing. They all brought something different.
My fellow classmates for this course have been meshing so well, and I know I got some true friendships going forward that aren't going to be broken.
Everyone here has just been such a magical person that's brought their own story, their own medicine to the dynamic here. And it's been fun because normally you get to know people through conversations and maybe sharing music, but actually sharing body work, you kind of get to know people on a whole other level. And it's beautiful just experiencing that as well.